Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's.
Hello, beautiful friend. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for listening week after week, twice a week, taking me with you on your walks and on your drives and while you're doing your chores. I just really appreciate you. I know that you're busy. I know that everybody wants a piece of you. And I'm so grateful and appreciative that the time that you take for yourself sometimes has me with you. So thank you for that. I love meeting the wonderful people that are listening to the podcast and the wonderful women that I get to interview for the podcast. It all is such a gift, and I am basking in appreciation. I am basking in an abundance of peonies here as well at the Phineas Wright House. We are deep in peony season. It started last week and it'll end in about 10 days. So it is fast, long awaited, and short lived. But it is so much fun. And it's just, what a dream. I'm like walking in the house with armfuls of everybody's favorite flower. It's just so beautiful and fun. And it reminds me of what I want to remind you of all the time, is that we are the deliberate creators of our experiences. And this is a fun, fabulous life that I've created for myself. And I know that you are also creating a fun, fabulous life for yourself. And you're doing that one yes at a time. And I would love to know what that is. So if you want to tell me how you're saying yes to yourself in this season, I am all ears. There is a tab in the show notes that reads fan mail. And if you click on that, it just sends me a text of your beautiful yes. And I would love to celebrate you and celebrate with you. So click that button and let's have a party. Okay, another part of our party today, we have a fabulous guest. We have Laura Phillips. She is a licensed reverse mortgage specialist with over 25 years of experience in real estate lending, dedicated to guiding clients through the HECM and reverse loan process to ensure that they make informed financial decisions for their futures. She's based in Colorado, and she specializes in FHA and HECM and proprietary portfolio jumbo reverse loans. So if all of those letters and all of those words are confusing and a mouthful, Laura is your girl, because she helps her clients enhance their cash flow and preserve their retirement assets. She believes that a home is more than just a house. It's a significant financial commitment, and she is committed to helping families enjoy their best years in their homes. I am eager to share this insightful conversation with you and Laura Phillips.
Laura, I'm so looking forward to this conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you, Wendy, so much for having me on board. I really appreciate it.
Well, I know that you have lots of great things to share, but I would love to start off with the question I ask all my guests, and that is, how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
Oh, that's a good one. I've actually embracing that more this year than I have ever embraced it in the past. So I have been working out. It's something that I've been telling myself, and and I've had a few doctors along the way that said maybe this would be a bad idea. So my brother-in-law, who lives with us, and I went in together and we bought a machine. I don't want to promote anybody's equipment, so I won't mention it, but I absolutely love it. It doesn't take up hardly any floor space in the house, and it is definitely whipping my rear end.
Love that for you. And I love
Yeah,
you have this built-in accountability, but also someone who's once removed.
right,
Like if
right.
it's your spouse, it can be like it can feel really judgy really fast,
Very fast, yes.
I think. So totally projecting what would happen to me on your situation. But I love that for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. We'll see. Now we got it just before Christmas. It was our Christmas
Okay.
gift. It was the big Christmas gift for us and quote for the house. My brother-in-law lives with us, and yeah. So I've only been on it since December, but I figure, hey, almost 2 months is better than no months.
Slow and steady wins the race.
I am definitely the turtle on the unit.
Okay, it's you're doing it.
I am. I am. I literally, I think it records me and I have to laugh because I cannot get off the floor very well. I mean, I'm, a woman of a certain age. And so, crawling up off the floor, it's like, why are we doing all this up and down? Can we just stay down and we'll do all the down exercises at the same time? But that's not how the program works.
Oh, that's too bad. Good to know, though.
Yeah, good to know.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, tell me all the things. Tell me what you are working on. I know that you are specializing in real estate, but in with such a beautiful, nuanced
Mhm.
way.
I am. I actually am a reverse mortgage lender. And of course, now as soon as you say that, people just run out of the room. But it's not, I think, something for anybody to be really afraid of. I found that a reverse can actually help a senior live the best of 30 years of their life if they embrace it. So I've started and I am launching a concept that will be, I'm so excited about it. It's called the equity shift. And it's a way of looking at our equity on our home that is different than the past generations have looked at it. And I found over my years of working with this product that the past generations, their thoughts about equity in their home served them very, very well. We're talking about our grandparents and our great grandparents that survived the Depression, survived a lot of hardship in their lives and loss, a loss of their homes. So to them, that was a different thought on how to use equity than we are looking at now in our generation and the generations to the future. I suspect that the home is always going to be your safety net. It's always going to be there for you, and that's where you go to shelter from the storms, as we say. But that doesn't mean that home and the equity in it can't help work for you at the same time. So that's the equity shift. And I looking at the book is in publication, and I can't wait to get it out. It'll be really more stories of how that equity shift helped. So I'm excited to say that.
Right. Oh, well, I'd love to hear more about that. But if you could go back and just explain what a reverse mortgage is,
Absolutely.
so people know contextually what we are talking about. And then I'm eager to hear some of these stories of this. I mean, this podcast is consistently highlighting the reinventions on the other side of a shift in perception about something,
Right. Right.
whether things physically changed, that happened in a lot of cases but not in all
Mhm.
cases, but it's the mental and energetic thought systems that have shifted, that have
Right.
made the true impact in this reinvention period that we are all in individually and collectively.
Absolutely, absolutely. So a reverse mortgage is a loan. That's exactly what it is. It's designed for people that are 62 years old and older. Now, you can have one member of your household be under 62, but you have to have one over 62. It's been out since the Reagan era, and it was originally to help a elderly, no, she wasn't elderly, she was a woman who had lost her husband. She had 5 kids, still kind of in varying ages at home, and they had these savings and loan in her town wanted to help her, so they put together a way for her to use the equity in her home to be able to help finish raising her children. Now, from that concept and that initial act came the reverse mortgage. I don't know, let's see how to explain it other than it's a vehicle, a lending vehicle that allows you to tap into the equity of your home, and you do not have to make a payment to repay it. That's probably the biggest piece of, I mean, we all have ways of tapping our equity. We can do a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. You can do another refinance and pull money out of your house. But all of those products require a monthly payment. Well, so when you're 62 years old and older, there's a strong possibility that your income is decreasing or will be decreasing in the future or near future. And looking at those payments is like, I'm not sure that I can make those in that thought process in your head.
Sure. And a 30-year loan at 62 is
Right.
ambitious. I mean, unless you're me.
It is ambitious.
I will be 103. That's my goal.
My goodness, you can't even imagine that person making a mortgage payment.
Right. I will not be making a mortgage payment on my 103rd birthday.
There you are. So this allows you to tap the equity, which for most cases, by the time you're 62 years old, you've got a good amount of equity in your home. And it's sitting there now. It increases with appreciation of your home, and it decreases with appreciation of your home. So it just kind of rises and lowers with the tide of the real estate in your area. But you can't tap into the wall and get the money out. And so this gives you that opportunity to kind of tap into that wall, get the funds out, and do whatever you need to do. If it's replace your roof, get a new furnace, take a dream vacation together, do a family vacation where you build memories. There's just so many uses out there for it. And again, you do not have to now you can, and I do have a few clients that do make payments on it, but you do not have to make a payment. Now, what happens? I mean, obviously banks don't lend money for free. Right. We might as well address one of the elephants in the room. Yeah. And that is absolutely correct. What will happen is when the last person who was on the loan, so if it's you and a spouse or you and a significant other, leaves the home, passes away or moves into assisted care or moves to be closer to family and doesn't need a big house, just going to take a room with there, then that loan comes due. That's when it comes due. So yes, they do get paid, but it is in the future.
And what is the typical, like, I have never looked into this, so you can speak to me, like all the preschoolers that are looking into reverse mortgages.
Right.
Talk to me like I'm a preschooler, although I know that's not the audience that would be asking these questions. So let's just say, for example, somebody has $500,000 in equity in their house. And are these people that are no longer paying a mortgage, or this is in addition to like the equity less the existing mortgage?
Right. And it can be either way. The house can be, the term we call in the business is free and clear. Okay. So, and it is, you don't have any liens against it. So you could actually have a first and a second. It depends. Okay. It's probably best to have at least 50% equity in your house. That means that it's not encumbered. And encumbered is a big fancy word for a mortgage. So that just means it doesn't have a lien or a loan against it.
So if someone has a mortgage, then reverse is not an option for them.
Yeah, no, it is. But it is. So let's use that example of them having $500,000 in equity. And let's give them $1 million home Just,
Okay.
I like
That's
math. It's
easy
easy.
math. Right. Exactly.
Easy math, easy math. And let's say they're 62 years old. So
Okay.
a lot of their home appreciated. We've had beautiful appreciation in the last couple of years. So that, it's not like they bought $1 million house a long time ago. It's just that's what it rose with the values. So what happens, and they would like to tap some of that funds and make some family memories. They've got children or they've got some grandchildren. They'd like to take them to Disneyland.
Okay.
They want to have a really wonderful vacation. They would take that, and they don't want to use their savings. That's let's just really kind of be really, they're practical people. They don't want to use their savings, but they'd love to do this. So at 62 years old, they can tap about 40% of the equity that's available. So if we use 40 from 60, that would mean maybe $200,000 perhaps.
Okay.
And again, boy, don't quote me on any of these numbers. I have to run these programs.
Preschool reverse mortgage.
Thank you. I run these programs on a computer because the program itself is very simple to work with, but the numbers behind it and how it functions
Sure, and they
is a little bit more
fluctuate as
complicated.
well, I'm sure, based on interest rates and all of that.
So then they do the loan, they take their class. They have to take a little class just to make sure and that class is by a third party. So that came about because, in the early days, there were some scammy people out there. And with anything that has high dollar value, there's probably a scammy person out there somewhere. So the government, it's an FHA product. The government decided, no, they should probably take a class and make sure that they really understand what they're doing. So I don't offer the class. It actually goes to an official HUD trainer. They talk to them by phone. You don't have to go in for about an hour and make sure that they understand the only way you can lose the home is if you don't pay your property taxes and you don't maintain it or you don't live in it. So property taxes, most people have had mortgages, they were paying property taxes through their mortgage company. Big shift. So some of this equity shift is there's some shifts in perception and how it gets handled. So now you have to make the property taxes. And most property taxes come and they usually let you pay them twice a year. So, there are ways that you can work that in your budget. So they get this $200,000. They've taken the class. They've gone through the mortgage process, which is pretty simple. Takes about 6 weeks, start to finish. And that would be with the class. And they go to the closing table. They get their funds 3 days later. And they book their trip with their grandchildren and their children to Disneyland.
Amazing.
It
Okay.
is it's a very simple product to work with.
And then, sadly, but appropriately,
Right.
at 87 and a half years old, not on Christmas and not on anybody's birthday,
Right.
a transition.
And let's just have one of them transition a little bit earlier than the other. So, so now we have a remaining spouse. So once transition, well, the remaining spouse still is allowed to stay in the home, still makes the property taxes. And let's say they were very, very frugal people. They were worked with their funds and so they had plenty of money, but there was still assets left in the line of credit that this particular loan offered them, and they didn't have to use the money. It was there for burial costs and for maybe making the house a little bit simpler for the remaining spouse. That person was getting older and probably needed some grab bars in the bathroom, so something simple.
So the $200,000 that they took out has been just sitting in their account,
Right.
minus Disneyland, minus property taxes, minus renovations to the house, improvements to the house, those kinds of things. That's all still sitting there. They still don't have a house payment.
Right.
Okay, I'm with you.
And that funds are there if she needs them or he needs them. That other remaining spouse still needs those funds. Those are still available to them. So that remaining spouse now needs some home care. We are getting older. It's a wonderful prospect of life, but it's still there. So this spouse needs to have some people come in for housekeeping and maybe from food prep, because the kids are a little concerned about that spouse cooking with the gas stove.
Or eating ice cream for every meal.
Right. Or the microwave where they put the metal in. True story, it was actually my father, for some reason, just thought, years of using the microwave, but it kind of went out of his memory, and he stuffed something metal in there and blew the silly thing up. So,
Poor thing. I hope he was okay.
he was okay, but we didn't replace it after that. We felt like, well, maybe that was one of those tools that we could just let go,
Right.
So the remaining spouse has the opportunity to stay at the home. The funds that were not used from the line of credit with the reverse mortgage are still available to them for whatever needs they have. And at that point, the spouse is going to, and I hear this constantly from the seniors I work with, I want to pass in my home. I don't want to have to go elsewhere. That seems to be a really predominant thought for, I'm a boomer myself, I'm going to have to say maybe for the boomers generation, I'd like to pass in my home. So she does. He does. They pass away from in the home. And at that point, the loan comes due. Now, both parties have left the home. They've left from natural causes in this particular case. And the bank comes and says, well, grandkids, kids,
We're so sorry for your loss.
we're very sorry for your loss. But they come very, very kindly to you and they say, well, there's a loan balance due. And let's just say that it's $400,000. Now it grows. Remember, this loan is going to grow in balance because we're not paying on it. So it is going to grow. I mean, they do want their money.
So they got 200,000 out, but now the loan balance is 400,000.
Right, because it does grow. I mean, again, banks don't give money away for
Not
free.
free money, right?
So this is kind of the trade-off. You don't have to make the payment on it, but it is going to grow. And so does your line of credit, by the way, too. The line of credit that they've been having has also been growing, independent of the loan balance. So that was how, there's money left in the home. And so now the kids, let's say the house is worth $150,000, 1.5 million, because I have to do numbers in my head.
Yes.
And we're going to take away the $400,000 that's owed. And the kids say, well, we don't really want the house. I mean, we're actually almost finished raising our own children and we're pretty happy where we live. So we'll just put the house on the market and sell it. And the bank institution says, great. Let's get started on that process and we'll give you a couple of months. So, let's see how real estate goes. And it doesn't sell in the first 3 months because it happened in the winter and it was a cold state and nobody does much in the winter. So the bank says, well, you're right, but the house seems to be priced well and you've got a realtor and everything, trying to do a for sale by owner, and so we'll give you some more time. So in talking with the servicing department of the lender, the remaining children have an opportunity to move the house along and pay off the loan and then recoup the rest of the money as their assets. Now let's switch this scenario slightly because there's always a negative to the world. And let's say that the value of the home went down. We're back in 2009 and 10 and the loss has happened. And now the house is less than the loan amount. This is a huge loss in this particular example, so let's not freak out about that. But let's just think of it.
Thank you for reminding me not to freak out. I just freaked out for the hypothetical people.
Absolutely. So we don't want to do the numbers that direction, but just think of it this way: the house is now worth less than the loan amount. What happens to my heirs? This is the spouse's, the remaining parent is on their transition bed, and they're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to leave these kids with a debt, and I don't want to do that, and it's not going to happen because the loan is guaranteed to be a non-recourse loan. Now that's a mortgage term, which means that there is no fault, for lack of better words. Recourse means that they're not going to come back after you. So a non-recourse loan means that their heirs and heirs below them, so their children, their grandchildren, whoever, are not responsible for the balance.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's not a bad loan.
They sell the house, the bank recoups whatever they can get for the house, and they're done.
They're done. So if we remember back to those days in 2009-10 when we had a really drastic loss of value in our homes, lots of the banks came after us afterwards. They didn't get all of their funds recouped now, and so that was why we had short sales. We had all sorts of situations. They're not going to come back and say, well, I'm really sorry for your parents' loss, but you still owe $100,000. Because we could only get 300 of our 400,000 back. So no, that's not going to happen.
And is that standard for any reverse mortgage that happens now, or is there something special that someone needs to make sure this box is checked so that's
Good question. Absolutely. A FHA HUD product does have that as a standard built in it. The other elephant in the room, because there's always a couple of elephants sitting around, you just don't realize until you trip over one. So the elephant in the room, the other one is that it does have mortgage insurance on it. And that mortgage insurance is reversed from what we used in the early days when we bought the house and we had less than 20% down and we were buying insurance to protect the lender if we defaulted. This particular mortgage insurance, same name, really should change the name, does opposite. It protects you and your heirs so that you do not have to make the payments. So now you are in the clear.
So you haven't been making a house payment, but you've been paying your property taxes and you've been paying for this mortgage insurance.
Correct. Absolutely. And it's a small, and so that's why the balance grows. It's going to grow a little bit each month, but it's not like hundreds of thousands of dollars kind of situation. Think of it as your typical mortgage payment. It's just being added on to the balance. I think that's a good way to consider it or look at it. I feel like numbers, if you talk real numbers, it's very daunting, to be honest with you. So we're trying to figure out how to explain it without the numbers.
Right. But I appreciate the concept because I think that, like you said, there are preconceived notions about these things. Like my dad did not believe in leasing a car. Like he just thought that is a waste. You need to own your vehicle. You need to not make payments. You need to buy it in cash. It's like, okay, that was nice when cars cost $5,000, but
and
now
maintain it for its life, which
and with some part you can buy at whatever the auto parts store is. I don't even know what the auto parts store is anymore because my cars cost way more than that and I can't fix it. So, things change about that. So what are you finding are the main stories that you're helping dismantle what isn't the case anymore and rebuilding this new narrative that is actually what's happening? Can you speak to a few of those? You mentioned elephants in the room, but are there also mental elephants about this process?
I think the mental elements are that our parents didn't believe in my parents didn't believe in having a loan after a certain age in their house, and they paid it off. Did that serve them? In that particular case, they did. Their health deteriorated, but they had some funds to be able to fund that themselves. Had they not had their health or not had the funds around, how would they have paid? The house was free and clear. We 3 children each had our own homes with mortgages and kids to raise, and not a huge amount of disposable income to help mom and dad. We wanted to, but we're a product of the environment, and we're getting by. We're doing okay. We're not asking for help, but we're not able to offer a lot of help. Okay. So that reverse mortgage, had they needed it, would have been a great opportunity for them. And that's a shift from what my parents thought to how I look at my home equity and my 2 children. And I don't see necessarily that the situation having hugely improved over time for them. So I don't want to have them figure out what to do with us. And if we have equity in our home and we can use the reverse mortgage to cover care coming in, then why would I not consider that? Versus, my children love me, but they don't want me to live in their house with them.
It's one of those things that keeps that love alive
Yeah,
is
it
not
does.
living in the same
And
house.
tiny homes are okay, but that still made me feel a little too close. So,
Right, right.
I think that they are happy to know that I am well cared for, and that that worry of how am I going to make my mortgage payment, raise my child, make sure that my kids have a good education one way or the other to be able to have a good life themselves. And then, gosh, that's that sandwich situation. We had it, they're going to have it. And how can I relieve some of that pressure for them
Sure.
and pressure for us at the same time? Pressure for
Right. Now, you mentioned, and in our scenario,
hmm
everyone died of natural causes.
Right.
What happens in the case of, say, a divorce?
hmm
And as a part of the divorce settlement, let's say the wife keeps the house and the
Right.
husband, whatever, keeps the girlfriend, whatever. I'm making
The
it up.
girlfriend and the 401k.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The two things that are important to him,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Yes, in this completely hypothetical scenario.
Absolutely. And those hypothetical situations are absolutely out there.
They
So
are.
I'll actually talk about a real client.
Yes,
No
please.
names mentioned, just a real client. And she had worked during the early part of their marriage and career, had a career, but then she took on children and loved, and it was a mutual agreement on both of their parts to be with the children and make sure that she was there for all of the activities that happened. And then as the kids went on to college, his mother got sick, and again, mutual agreement. I think women are caretakers in many ways, and she was going to continue to do that. And so then, gosh, she went and found a girlfriend. And now they're divorced, but she's got the house. And she didn't really have a lot of retirement funds built up
Mhm.
because we don't get paid. I mean, in fact, I think they'd be shocked to find out if they had to actually pay us to do these things. And we
Yes,
do
it
it out of
would.
the love, and it's not servitude, but I think a lot of us do that out of the love of.
It would change everyone's attitude about immigration if they
Absolutely.
had to pay us what our going rate is.
Right. Our
Yeah.
going rate. So she's got the house, and that's where all her memories were. That she really wanted the house. And what is she going to do? Well, now she owns the house. It was free and clear in this particular case. We won't have any loans against it for her. But she's like, oh my goodness, I one have to manage my own life. I have to figure out all the bills, and she, that's a huge life change for women at
Yes.
a certain age where
At
they
any age.
probably at any age. And so what happens? Well, she can use that reverse mortgage to help fund her life in the home. I mean, she's not going to go off with her girlfriends and do a 6 week trip to Africa.
She
That's not.
might.
She could, and she has that opportunity.
She can
Nobody
come to
cares.
Paris with me.
There you are. Nobody cares what the money's used for. It's her money. It is equity. And she uses the equity in her home to make it an easier place to live and fund her retirement. So a lot of people can use your home equity to fund your retirement. And he can have the 401k and the girlfriend.
Yeah. Knock yourself out, buddy.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that's good to know. I love
Yeah.
that for her.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. And I love that there's no one is asking her how she uses the money.
Correct.
And she can totally go on a girls' trip if she
She
wants
can.
and
She
do
absolutely can.
whatever she wants.
This particular woman did. She
I
went
really love.
for this was pre-COVID, and so they got stuck in Africa during COVID. But
Oh my.
and but she didn't worry about it because she
Right.
had, because she said we couldn't fly out. She said, but I had funds. I just reached out to the lending institution, asked them to wire some more funds into my personal account, and
Mhm.
she said I was comfortable. I wasn't afraid. She said I had another girlfriend that was like, oh my God, I only had a limited amount of money to do this. So
Great.
it I think using a reverse mortgage, it's a tool, can help alleviate a lot of worries and pressures that keep us up at night.
And once you alleviate those worries and pressures, which we can do in all sorts of ways, reverse mortgage is one, but then you are open, you've settled your nervous system enough
Right.
to open up to a creative idea or the next yes that's for you that leads you to the next place where you are also well cared for and having the life that you desire.
Absolutely. So I mean, I talk to people. I mean, when I got started in life, and I've been out here doing it for a while, I never dawned on me that if I retired at 60, I might have another 30 years of life. I mean, great, absolutely great, but it never dawned on me that that would be I would be in my easily into my 90s, and I now have to figure out how to fund that.
Right.
And my financial advisor, I mean, great party, great person, but there was no way that they could anticipate inflation,
Right. And he's
tariffs.
32. So what does he know?
Well, yes, and there were a few years where life happened and I wasn't able to put as much away because life does happen. Let's face it, all sorts of stuff happens. And I wasn't able to save like I wanted to. And so the reverse mortgage allows that little bit of like, oh, I don't have to hold my breath. I
Mhm.
can I can actually take a sigh and know that I'm going to be okay.
Right. And it's not some diamond mine in some faraway land. It is something that you have been
Mhm.
nurturing and caring for and loving the whole time anyway. You know
Absolutely.
your home so intimately, and
Mhm.
now she's just giving back to you what you've given to her this whole time.
Right. So it's providing you shelter in a storm in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
So
that.
thank you. Thank you. Just thought of
Okay.
it. Thanks. I'll have to figure out how
Yeah,
to
my
put that in
pleasure.
some kind of thing.
Are there any other stories that are really highlighting where a woman said yes to herself that you've used in the book?
Well, there's so many. I'm trying to figure. The one that
Right.
pops to my head is actually a man saying yes to his wife.
Okay, that'll work. I love yes in all of the beautiful forms. I just think stories are so good about
Stories are
it.
great.
You
This
know, it's such a great way to wrap our head around a concept.
Thank you. Thank you. This was actually my very first reverse mortgage, and it still gives me shivers when I talk
I
about
love
it.
it
So
because that was my next question was how did you even want to do this and really, go deep into this one section of your career?
absolutely. Well, and I should tell you, I've been a mortgage lender for over 30 years.
Hmm.
So I raised a whole group of kids, and said okay, and they know all about mortgages because they were at closings with me. So this gentleman calls me and I think I was way like maybe 35. I mean, it was early in my career. Um, and said that he wanted to get a reverse mortgage. And I thought, oh, I'll have to go look that one up. And I said,
Yes, I
okay.
do those. Hold,
Yeah,
please.
I think I had that under my list of loans that I can do. Uh, and he said, I want to do it because my wife was diagnosed with a terminal disease. She's healthy now, and I want to give her the trip of a lifetime. And here, I can already feel the goosebumps coming up. He
Oh,
wanted to take her around the world. This was not just a trip to Paris. This was literally living abroad, traveling from place to place for at least a year while
of
she was
course.
healthy and strong and could enjoy every moment of it. So that was a yes, not because she didn't ask for it. I mean, it was a surprise. The whole thing was a surprise,
Oh my
and
gosh.
he did this before. And then it was just amazing. I never talked to him afterwards. They went off and enjoyed their trip, and I bet it was the most beautiful memories she ever had of her life with him. So, and of course, she said yes, she would go. So
Yes.
it
Yes.
was
I
yeah.
love that. I love
So
that.
it was sad, but yet very, very beautiful. So I think you can say yes to anything. You can say yes to helping a grandchild who's done really, really well with school, but their parents struggled and they don't have the money for them to go to this college or this trade school that's going to help them really advance their career and their passion in life. So yeah, I mean, there's just so many ways, and we should probably talk about the one way it doesn't work, because it's not all roses and unicorns, and it's not. So there is a reason why you would never want to do a reverse mortgage.
Oh, perfect. Do tell.
And I think that it's something that everyone should hear. If your intent is to truly give your house to the children to live in, and I've had examples where I have said, this is not the loan for you, let's come up with another way to make this, find funds, then don't do it, because you're going to be leaving the house with a mortgage on it to the kids. And in this particular case, they did not feel that their children had the wherewithal with their careers and raising the kids that they had. One had a special needs that they could afford to have a mortgage at the same time. So they wanted to leave the house free and clear.
Okay.
And in that particular case, rather than, they ended up selling some assets from their stocks and bonds to be able to fund the rest of what they needed. So there are ways that, I mean, that's probably the only way where I would see it really not being a good choice, because you're wanting to give the kids, the gift to the children is the inheritance of the home, and the home with no encumbrance on it, so that they can move on with life. And if that is your idea, then a reverse mortgage, any loan, would not be a good choice at that point.
Sure, that makes sense. Thank you. And if you have property in a trust, is it eligible for a reverse mortgage? Okay.
It is. Lenders are very nosy. They want to see that trust. Right. They are going to give you the money. It's funny, even when you're only asking for a small amount, they still want to poke around in your personal finances. So most of these dollar amounts are a little bit higher than a small amount, just because of the equity there, but they would like to see a copy of the trust. So I've never had anybody go, oh, no, you can't do that. But I just want to prepare people when they say it's in a trust. And yes, we need to just make sure that the lender looks over the trust and that they're comfortable with it. It is a lien. So they want to just make sure.
Right. And then, so as a lien, just again, in our preschool class of this, what does that not allow them to, like, how does the lien impact something else that they might want to do?
They being the kids?
No,
the bank.
So the people who have this reverse mortgage, they're enjoying the benefit of that, but it comes as a lien on the property.
Correct.
And does that impact them in any way in a
I think I understand
that they might want to do? So they're thinking, oh, well, we did want to also do this thing. So like this is not the route for us.
I think maybe the best way to explain it is that a reverse mortgage allows you access to your equity now. And the trade-off is less equity when it is paid off. So you're using that equity. It's like, remember, the loan balance is growing. So that's probably a real simple way to think about that, is that it lets you have it, but the trade-off is you're going to have less in the end. And now if the end was to make sure that the kids each got X amount of money from the house, then you're going to have to work backwards and make sure that that's where your loan person, if they're cognitive, I like to know, what are your goals? Why are we even talking about a reverse mortgage? What is it that, and sometimes it's hard to articulate. The lady I'm meeting at the end of the week, she's having a hard time telling me why she needs it. She knows she needs it. And so we're just going to have a cup of coffee together and talk about what made you call me, and what are the needs immediate, and what are the long-term needs that you need to have. She's got a child that she's concerned about care for later on. And so I want to make sure, if we're doing this loan, that we're meeting those goals, because those, how she treats that is how that loan's going to get structured. The loan could give her more and jeopardize what her goal is for her son.
Right, right. And I think it's such a beautiful opportunity that you're giving these clients in this process to take some time and really identify
Right.
what they want and why they want it, and not in a way that they have to prove that it's a worthy thing to you or to the
Absolutely.
bank or to whatever, but just because it's really good to know what we want and why we want it, because that's what motivates the solution.
Right. It does. And we're talking about a future pace. I mean, I can think out a couple years and, what am I going to do in 5 years? I think I might have a vague idea. But what am I going to do in 10 years? I have no clue. I don't know where my house is going to be. I don't know, how the weather's going to head in Colorado. Am I going to have snow? Am I going to have fires? So it's hard to future pace that and think about it. And that's that equity shift. It's shifting what you're thinking you need to do. I mean,
Right. And planning for the life you want, not
planning for the life. Absolutely.
against the life you don't want.
Right.
Like trying to plan for, well, what will happen if it's on fire and I'm in terrible health? Like, of course, nobody wants to think about that.
Right.
And it's our attention to it that makes it more of a possibility of that being what we get than if we are having this more expansive purview of what is it that we want. And it's, less about, like the beautiful story you mentioned of the first client that you worked with on this. It's that he had an idea, like he wanted to take her on this epic trip around the world, but what he wanted was for her to have a lifetime of memories compacted into 1 year's time, so that they both could manage how they manage what was coming.
Right. It was a way to manage what was coming.
Those are more emotional, I don't have the word, like they're more dreamy concepts rather than, well, I want the rising cost of electricity to be taken care of in case the bill is $432.98, like obviously we're not going to get that drilled down because we want to have this expansive solution that matches the expansive desire that we have for what's coming.
Right.
And this,
I think there's an old adage that you use, I've seen for years, on somebody's gravestone, like, I wish I hadn't spent so much time in the office. So I have some friends, and life is transitioning for one of them, and the comment is, as I thought we would have more time. And my husband and I, in fact, my husband just said to me recently, he said, we talk about this all the time, but why don't we take a 3-day vacation and go somewhere? And you know what? He's right. He's right. And
where are we going to go?
Well, he'd like to go to Santa Fe or Tahoe's.
Awesome. Where do you want to go? Because you can.
Well, I'm a beach girl.
You can go on 2 vacations.
No, I'm okay with. I'd like to go see I think that one of those, or somewhere down that area, let's put it this way, has this big hot air balloon festival, and and it's like several hundred of them, and they all go up at the same time. I would love to go see that.
That's cool.
I'm thinking maybe we can kind of coordinate the two. Because in Colorado, I have to get on a plane and go a long ways to get to a beach.
Okay. You can also do that.
Yeah, I can. We did that a couple of years ago. We actually took a family vacation. We took let's say, I guess it was 8 of us. And we got a condo that was big enough to accommodate all of us in one place. And we went to the Big Island for a week.
Fun!
And I decided, I'm not going to spend the time. I wanted to have some experiences. I'm really embracing that thought of
Yes.
experiences with my children and my grandchildren. And I thought, okay, what are we going to do? So one day we went in the evening and we snorkeled with the manta rays.
Oh my gosh.
And these
That's
creatures are
cool.
absolutely huge. I mean, oh my God. And it came up from the bottom of, the depths as far as I was concerned.
Right. At
And
nighttime
it's just
snorkeling,
huge
I'm not
mouth. And
sure.
I've
Wow.
got the snorkel in my mouth. I'm hanging on to dear life to this flotation thing out there in the middle of the ocean. It's black like ink. Or actually, it was the bay. And I actually screamed. I thought I'm going to drown.
Right.
But wow, we got off that boat and our eyes were wide open like saucers, and all we could say was, oh my gosh, they are so beautiful. What a gift to give myself. What a gift to watch their joy in seeing it. You know. So I'm trying to figure out how to put another family one together. Now, you put that many family members together, you're going to get all sorts of family dynamics. I should just warn everyone
Right. For
that
sure.
maybe you had forgotten existed. But
Exactly. Well, your vibration's where you last left it. So
there you are. So we
pick it up
we
right
survived
where
it.
it was.
And I've checked in, and they all are going, yeah, I think I could probably do that again. So I have to come up with another
And
trip like that.
you can go to the beach by yourself.
I
And you
will
can be
do
on
that.
a plane and all by yourself for a long time, and you can get off at the beach and you can
Mhm.
stay there as long as you want. And
Yeah.
it's so fun.
I find that ocean waves are very soothing to my soul. So I don't
Mhm.
actually have to be in the water. I'll get up to maybe waist deep. I'm not a big like snorkeling kind of person, but I just love to walk the beach and see what the ocean gave you in gifts because it's
Mm,
always turning something up.
that's so beautiful. I can't wait to hear all about your solo trip to the beach.
Thank you. Well, I'm
You're
planning a semi-solo trip. I'm going to spend a month with my daughter in New Orleans.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
I'm closer to the beach there than I am where I am currently.
That's right. Well, I hope you'll take an excursion because it won't require a long plane ride.
No, it won't. We've are actually part of the plan is to take me down. I don't know. She has some beach that she likes to, and the sand there is like sugar sand. It's
Oh, I love that.
yeah, it's like sugar. It's really white and soft. So I'm looking forward to it.
How fun. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
love
very
that.
much.
Yes, for you.
Do you have any plans and trips like that in your future?
Oh my gosh, I am obsessed with my travel schedule for this year.
All right.
Yes, I lead culinary trips to France for solo female travelers.
Oh
And
wow.
I've added Edinburgh this year as well. So yeah, July is Edinburgh, and I'll be in France in May and August, all of September. I have already been on one cruise this year. I have another cruise. Yeah, I got one yes after the next, my friend.
All right. All right. Well, and I think we all need to learn that.
That I am modeling it.
You are modeling it.
Come with me. That,
Absolutely.
that is my invitation.
I love it. What a great thing. I'm trying to teach my daughters that, that, and one probably embraces it. My children are 18 years apart, so it's like two
Mm,
different generations. Um,
right.
but one embraces it a little bit better than the other. So I'm trying to get the younger one to embrace it a little
Leading
bit
by
more.
example is the best way to do it.
Uh-huh. I hope so. I hope so.
Perfect. Well, I have loved this conversation, Laura. Thank you for your very expansive preschool class so that I
Thank
could
you.
understand this concept. And I know it was in service to our listeners as well. Please let everyone know where they can find and follow you, work with you,
Mhm.
get their hands on the book when it's ready, all the good things.
Absolutely. So the best way to find me is with my name, Laura Phillips. And Phillips has two L's in it and an S. And I have my website is just my name, lauraphillips.com. I have a cell phone. I answer my phone all the time. Unless I'm talking with someone and then you go to voicemail and I'll call you right back. I promise I do that. My cell phone number is 303-817-4611. And call me. Call me and ask me questions. I don't lend in every state, but I am here to help you understand how to find somebody that will lend in your state if I don't lend there.
You're so generous. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Laura. We will link everything down in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you.
I've had a wonderful time.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wright House and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.